In 1982, we make our first journey onto the grid in the movie Tron, directed by Steven Lisberger, starring Jeff Bridges, Brett Boxleitner, as well as Cindy Morgan. This movie is about a computer hacker who gets abducted into the digital world and must force to participate in gladiatorial games where his only hope is the help of a heroic program. So we're going to talk about this movie and help you decide whether or not it's the right one to watch as a Christian. Hey friends, welcome to the channel. I'm your host Tim, and we exist to help Christians live in the world, not of the world, by utilizing our convictions in the movies and shows we watch. Tron is rated PG, so we're going to dive into any convictions you may have that may prevent you from watching this movie, any theological themes present within it, and wrap it up with my own personal thoughts on the film. Without further ado, let's dive into the Christian conviction meter. And kicking things off with some violence and gore here, there are some gladiatorial-esque games, which means there are some characters fighting, and they do fight a little bit differently here. The biggest thing to note is that they do use what is called an identity disc to fight with, usually by throwing it at opponents. There also are some high-speed chases that are a part of this movie, namely with the use of light cycles, in which if you run into their light beam, you will get destroyed. There also are a few deaths in which some programs are derezzed, which means they are no more. There also are a few explosions and some crashes and stuff that are a part of this movie. All that to say, we are going to give this a 2 out of 5 in this category. Our next category is lust, and there really isn't much here. There is just some kissing. That's about it. We are going to give this a 0 out of 5. And speaking of 0 out of 5s, there is nothing also in our category for substances, so it is going to also be a 0 out of 5 here. Our next category is profanity, and the only word that is used within this film is the DA word. There is no other profanity that is a part of this film. We're going to give this a 1 out of 5 here. Our next category is intense/horror scenes. This is in no way, shape, or form a horror movie, so you don't have any horror images to worry about. There are, of course, some pretty semi-intense things here. Due to the nature of the games of life or death, there is that intensity from there. The master control program can be a little creepy for viewers as well. And there also are just some moments of some high-speed chases, whether by ship or by motorcycle, or in this case, a light cycle. I also mentioned earlier that any program who ends up getting destroyed here ends up de-rezzing, and that also can be pretty creepy, especially for younger viewers. All of that to say, just to be on the safe side here, we are going to give this a 2 out of 5. So our grand total on the conviction meter is going to be a 5 out of 25. While this is a lower film on our list of things we have reviewed, there is some, of course, just different things from its intensity and also its violence here, but overall it is pretty average, just a little below moderate, kind of mild, so to speak, in just some of the action and violence and the intensity of this film. But as I like to say, if anything we talked about compromises your convictions that God has given you, make sure to use those convictions. No movie is worth compromising your relationship with Jesus over, so make sure to follow the convictions that he has given you. So with that wrapped up, it's time to dive into some theological themes that are present within Tron. And unfortunately, I didn't see anything here. I didn't see anything about Jesus, the Bible, Christianity, the church, none of that. I didn't see anything in regards to us as Christians in this movie. So with that wrapped up, it's time to dive into what I think of Tron. And this film very much is a product of the 80s, but I do want to preface this, that this movie did help to pioneer CG technology. It was one of the first movies that really heavily used CG, and while it is pretty noticeable because it did come out in the 1980s and it is in no way, shape, or form close to anything we have had it's pretty much since the start of the 2000s. It does look a little rough, but it does look kind of gamey, and so for that sense, I would say that it does kind of fit the style because of the fact that Tron is about video games, specifically arcade games, and so the fact it kind of looks a little cheesy, looks a little video game-esque, isn't necessarily a bad thing. You could say that it is part of the charm of this film. However, the film does kind of lack in its plot. While the visuals and stuff are pretty neat, at least back for the 80s, the plot itself is pretty thin. There really isn't much complexity to it. It's very straightforward, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's kind of definitely weird considering the complexity of this world of computers. That also to be said here, you jump right into the action. There is really no explanation that is a part of this movie or why this world exists and stuff like that. That's one benefit I do give to its sequel. They do a better job at kind of explaining why things exist. You don't really see that within this film, which is a bit frustrating because, you know, you're diving into a brand new world, and it's not like you're journeying along with these characters in this new world. You're literally journeying into this new world with a character who's never been in it. And so he's experiencing this all for the first time, but why this world exists, we don't really know. And so I wish we got just a little bit of explanation. I think that would have been a nice addition to this movie. And I also would have liked just a bit of an emotional punch. I'm not asking for it to be a sob story or anything like that, but just some joy or sadness or some of those things, some emotion, something to pull me with these characters and this story. And you don't really have that within this film. All of that to say, overall, it's pretty decent. It's not a fantastic film by any means. It's not, you know, super amazing, spectacular. It does have some neat visuals, especially when you keep in mind it came out in 1982. It's fine. It's nothing special, though. So all that to say, I'm going to give this a 6.7 out of 10. It's pretty good, but it is not great. So it's a 5 out of 25 on the conviction meter. It's a 6.7 out of 10 in our review. Those are my thoughts, so let me know yours down in the comments below. Let's chat all things about Tron in the comments. And while you're down there, consider hitting that like and subscribing for us, joining our community here on YouTube. It just helps to send us out into the algorithm, allows us to reach more Christians to help them utilize their convictions in the movies and shows they watch. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with us here. We truly appreciate it. It means the absolute world to us. Before you go, there's a few video recommendations over here that YouTube is suggesting to you. I have no idea what they've picked. Hopefully they've done a good job, and we'll see you all in the next one.